Hey, this is Augie, Augie's Locker Room. When you come to the store, you're going to see things that you've probably never seen before unless you've been to a museum. Great items that go back to the Rockney era to the present. Website, augieslockerroom.com. Visit us here or the website.
Tim Prister with Tim O'Malley here from TIAA Bank Field, Jacksonville Jaguars home, and we just had spent 30 minutes with Marcus Freeman and captains Jarrett, Patterson, and J.D. Bertrand. Tim, we got a few things to cover here. Let's start with the personnel. We anticipated that Jason Adamalola was not going to be able to go, and that is true. He will not play in this game, which is a blow for Notre Dame when you add in the fact that Isaiah Foskey won't be playing either.
Yeah, there could be a bigger blow, too, because Brandon Joseph is a game-time decision. I guess recurrence of that ankle injury. Game-time decisions have not treated Notre Dame well this season when they were announced as such a couple days before. They need Joseph out there. He really solidifies the secondary. I guess you would see a combination of DJ Brown and Houston Griffith, because Xavier Watts seems to have kind of stepped into that front where he is playing more snaps than those two combined in the last two games. And I know now they like Ramon Henderson a lot in a partial nickel role, so I think Joseph is a big loss if he doesn't play in this contest.
Chance Tucker's name came up today. Yeah. I'm not sure that we were anticipating that, the redshirt freshman cornerback, and it sounds like he's going to play a more active role with Cam Hart being out of this game. Another big loss for Notre Dame, certainly not having Cam Hart. Naturally, questions about Tyler Buckner and his preparedness for this opportunity. 14 practices. We didn't expect Marcus Freeman to say anything other than he's practiced well and is ready to go. But he did mention the fact that, not only his confidence, but his teammates around him having confidence in him.
Yeah, and I think that's the key word. If he starts well, I expect Tyler Buckner to play well in this game. There'll be adjustments he has to make as South Carolina adjusts to what they see he can do. But, I really think it comes down to one of the guys that stood up there and his four teammates up front. Jarrett Patterson, the offensive line, can make Tyler Buckner's job pretty easy, where I think Buckner will be able to handle it even with his time off, or difficult, and the time off is going to exacerbate the issue. You can't put all of that on Tyler Buckner right now. Right. You wouldn't put all of that on Tyler Buckner as a 3-year starter coming back after 3 months off.
Yeah. Jarrett Patterson, I asked him about deciding to play in this game, a guy with a history of injuries, and Notre Dame has other opt-outs. He said injuries come and go, but memories last forever, which I think is a great response by a two-time captain. And he also mentioned he was asked about when, playing for Harry Hiestand this year, and when Hiestand felt like the offensive line came together, and it was after North Carolina. And, that certainly pointed them in the right direction at that point.
You get a real answer from an offensive lineman because he actually points out the game. You never get an answer when something comes together other than it's somebody that's really thinking about it. And I thought Patterson handled the question well because, let's be honest, two of his best friends opted out. And he has to toe that line now. They were captains as well. But Jarrett Patterson, you mentioned, that guy's going to play. He's playing, and I just talked to Jarrett Patterson, probably not for the last time, but penultimate time, and I never would have thought that guy would have opted out either.
Yeah, no, that's Jarrett Patterson, two-time captain, and he takes that seriously. Not to criticize the other guys; they
could go in the first round,
right? Exactly. They have to do what they have to do. Irish Illustrated's Len Clark, I thought, asked a really good question of the two captains about looking back and what lasting impression that Marcus Freeman had on them, and J.D. Bertrand said he was a steady voice, and then Jarrett Patterson said authenticity. That was his one word, and I think that speaks volumes of Notre Dame's first-year head coach.
Yeah, I thought it was a good question. What that you asked, the journey he's had in the last year, because he certainly wasn't prepared for last year's bowl game, and I'm not saying that in a detrimental way. There's no way he could have been prepared for the situation. That full circle now, I think you're getting into the Freeman era, and it's important that the players use those words to describe him, because that's why Marcus Freeman will be able to bring talent to this program and retain talent to this program. Once they're here, they're going to enjoy their experience with them if they're good enough players, because they will play. Notice you talk to two team captains. They tend to like the head coach more because they're team captains and they jive with what he tries to do. But that's the key to Marcus Freeman is his authenticity. I thought it was interesting that a 23-year-old would bring that up.
Naturally, Notre Dame's going to have their hands full with Spencer Rattler, a guy that can really spin it. I mean, when you see him throw the football, that's an NFL candidate. And, J.D. Bertrand talked about his ability to extend plays. Yeah. He's not a runner, but his ability to move in and around the pocket and extend plays makes it a little bit more difficult for Notre Dame's defense.
I'm smiling because I caught Coach Freeman and J.D. Bertrand's response to the innocent question of, have you guys seen a quarterback like this year? And they looked in the they saw us with Pete Sampson, and the three of us looked at them, and they just kind of smiled. And it was reiterated later. Last game we played, does he remind you of Caleb Williams? And J.D. Bertrand said yes, he does, in his ability to extend plays and find people downfield. And that the most interesting thing about this game is the last two games Spencer Rattler played, well, one, he was superhuman. The other one, he played a winning effort in a tough game against a rival against Clemson. You never would have thought of any of these questions with Spencer Rattler going into mid-November. Yeah. It changes things, and those two game tapes are the most important, even though there's so many players coming up from South Carolina's second unit that are going to have to play a key role too.
Upon the conclusion of the press conference, Marcus Freeman came over and spoke with the South Bend media, the local media, and he said he knew the quarterback portal question was coming up, and so as he was responding to it, I thought, oh, okay, well, he's going to deal with it. He's not going to, just brush it off. But he did. He acknowledged the fact that Notre Dame is looking, and they're always trying to enhance. He also said an interesting thing about recruiting. Recruiting, he said, is an everyday thing for Notre Dame and all schools, certainly.
And not that this is a surprise, but he did, after being asked a couple times, he did admit or note, yes, college game experience is what we're looking for in that position because we have a young quarterback room.
I think that's about it. What else, Tim? Did we miss anything?
No, I think the injury situation to monitor is with Jason out and Isaiah Foskey out. The key now is the back end doesn't get hampered as well as Brandon Joseph. That was big news, especially with their recurring ankle injury. It's tough to see him playing, but maybe he'll be able to give it a go out there.
That's it today from TIAA Bank Field here in Jacksonville.